Teenagers Yo, Izayoi, and Asuka have terrible and boring lives on Earth because they each are gifted with unrivaled psychic powers. One day, 3 of them find themselves transported to an alternate dimension known as the Petite Garden. This realm houses various races endowed with unique abilities referred to as endowments. Here, they encounter Black Rabbit, a girl sporting rabbit-like ears, who holds the title of Judge Master. Her role involves enforcing regulations and maintaining order as a servant of the Petite Garden's creator. She elucidates the underlying principles of this realm to them. The Petite Garden centers around endowment games, challenging participants with games of varying risk. Players must wager something valuable in exchange for rewards if they emerge victorious. The game rules are inscribed on G-scrolls, which are absolute and unalterable. Black Rabbit extends an invitation for them to join her community of players. Journeying to a secluded village in the eastern part of this realm, Black Rabbit entrusts Asuka and Yo to the leadership of Jin within her community, noting that Izayoi has ventured off in search of amusement. While the group awaits the return of Black Rabbit and Izayoi, engaged in casual conversation over beverages, they find themselves approached by an enigmatic individual. Asuka, Yo, and Jin find themselves in a face-off with Galdo Gaspar, a creature with beastly features who leads a community called Forest Garo. Galdo extends an invitation for the girls to join his group, along with Black Rabbit. In an attempt to persuade them, he mocks Jin's community, which was compelled to adopt the label of No Name following an irrefutable defeat by the tyrannical demon lords of the Little Garden. This defeat resulted in the loss of their formal name and emblem. Dao, Jin, Black Rabbit, and approximately 120 children, all aged 10 and below, constitute the remnants of the community, making the task of reclaiming their name and banner quite challenging. Simultaneously, Black Rabbit, upon locating Izayoi after he triumphs over a water god, briefs him on their predicament with the hope that the trio can offer assistance. Excited by the prospect of battling formidable adversaries, Izayoi readily agrees. As for Asuka, harboring suspicions about Galdo's claim of winning all gift games that involve staking their banner, she employs her gift to command him to divulge the details. It turns out that Galdo resorted to kidnapping women and children from other communities, subjecting them to coercion and blackmail to serve his purposes. Unfortunately, he reneged on his promises, leading to the demise of his captives. Incensed by this revelation, the girls challenge him to a gift game the following day. Once Izayoi and Black Rabbit rejoin the group, they pay a visit to Shiroyasha, a demon lord affiliated with the Thousand Eyes, an expansive trade community. Shiroyasha, in contrast to her counterparts, has chosen to use her might for the cause of peace, holding the title of Floor Master, guardian of the east side of the Little Garden. The group decides to engage her in a gift game, with Yo emerging victorious by befriending a griffin and overcoming its challenges. Her gift, allowing her to assimilate the abilities of animals she has befriended, proves crucial in saving herself during the trial. From Shiroyasha, the trio discovers that they hail from different eras on Earth and receives gift cards capable of storing their gifts and displaying their names. Izayoi's card intriguingly states unknown. Triumphing over the water god, Izayoi gains an inexhaustible water source from a mystical water tree generously shared with the No Names. The girls seize the opportunity for a communal bath, during which Asuka dons a dress lent by Black Rabbit, bestowing an extra layer of protective aura upon its wearer. Later that evening, Galdo's underlings clandestinely breach the No Names territory, but are detected by Izayoi. Disturbingly, they unveil that all the hostages have already met their demise, asserting that Jin possesses the prowess to vanquish the demon lords. Despite Jin's disagreement with this notion, Izayoi argues that although their audacious plan may attract aggression from the demon lords and other factions, it could also earn them renown and the support of communities opposed to the demon lords. While criticizing disloyal former No-Name members, Izayoi learns from Jin that a former demon lord and ally is now at stake as a prize in an imminent gift game. In exchange for Asuka, Yo, and Jin's victory in the upcoming game, Izayoi pledges to rescue the captive comrade. The following day, they converge at Galdo's revamped residence, transformed into a labyrinthine thicket of vines and imbued with beastification magic. However, the rules impose a handicap, rendering the trio unable to utilize their gifts. Instead, they must confront Galdo and prevail using a designated weapon. Facing Galdo, now transformed into a demon tiger from his original human tiger form, Jin deduces the magical influences as vampiric and demonic, suspecting the involvement of a third party. Recognizing their assigned weapon as a crossed sword embedded in the wall, Yo distracts Galdo while Asuka instructs Jin to flee solo, inadvertently accompanying him. Upon Yo's return, wounded and collapsing, Asuka heads back to the residence. Setting the place ablaze, she draws Galdo into the forest. Recalling Black Rabbit's guidance on controlling others' gifts, Asuka employs the vines to restrain Galdo, commands the sword for its power, and ultimately defeats him, clinching victory in the game. This results in the liberation of all his captives, fueling Jin's determination to dismantle the demon lords and inciting the ire of the vampire who had cursed Galdo. Returning Yo to their territory, an unidentified man with black and blonde hair makes an appearance at Shiroyasha's location. As Yo continues her recovery, Black Rabbit engages in a discussion with Izayoi regarding their strategy for rescuing Letitia Draculaire, a pure-blood vampire, and the former demon lord mentioned by Jin. Their conversation, however, is abruptly interrupted by the vampire who aided Galdo. Surprisingly, it turns out to be none other than Letitia herself. She expresses regret for causing them trouble, clarifying that her only intention was to assess the extent of the children's powers. Despite her earlier actions, Letitia deems the children's gifts too rudimentary to effectively manage a community. She urges Black Rabbit to disband the group, as the gift game wagering her involvement has been annulled. Letitia's proprietor, Lurios Perseus, the man with both black and blonde hair at Shiroyasha's location, decides to launch an offensive against the No-Names. He deploys a Gorgon capable of turning individuals to stone with its petrifying gaze, much to Black Rabbit's dismay. During a gift game with Izayoi, it is revealed that Letitia has lost all her divinity, and has been reduced to a common vampire. In a selfless act, she sacrifices herself to shield Asuka. Members of Lurios' community, Perseus, are dispatched to retrieve her. Izayoi intervenes, preventing Black Rabbit from attacking them and opting to converse with Lurios at Shiroyasha's place. Rather than wagering Black Rabbit in the negotiation, they opt for a different approach. After Izayoi attains titles by triumphing over legendary monsters like the Kraken and Gree, granting them the authority to challenge any community to a gift game despite being labeled as No-Names, they propose a duel to Perseus. The gift game entails infiltrating Lurios' stronghold, and only those capable of reaching him undetected can emerge victorious, preserving their entitlement to challenge him. However, the guards are equipped with replica helmets modeled after Hades' helm, rendering them invisible, and Lurios himself wields Letitia's gifts. With these stipulations in mind, Izayoi devises a strategy wherein Asuka diverts most of the guards' attention using the water tree, allowing Yo to pave the way for him and Jin as they discreetly navigate past the unseen sentinels. Yo aids Izayoi and Jin in procuring one of the replicas and pilfering the genuine Hades helm using echolocation. Rather than directly confronting them, Lurios unveils his ace card, Algol the Gorgon, a former demon lord under his sway. Algol turns the surroundings outside the Colosseum into stone and launches an assault on Izayoi. However, Izayoi effortlessly overwhelms it with his strength, and vanquishes the creature by dismantling its gift with his enigmatic ability labeled Unknown. Despite admitting defeat and relinquishing Letitia, Izayoi extends an opportunity for Lurios to stage a comeback in a mano-a-mano showdown, heightening the stakes by putting Perseus' banner on the line in the event of their loss. Lurios is subsequently ousted from the ranks of the Thousand Eyes League, symbolized by the removal of their banner, the Perseus constellation, from the night sky. Letitia returns to the No-Name community, expressing her gratitude by assuming the role of a maid. As the group revels in their success, Izayoi pledges to immortalize their banner in the heavens as well. Their jubilation, however, is disrupted by the arrival of a letter from an unidentified sender. Recalling her days of confinement in a dreary boarding school, where none dared to oppose her, Asuka makes the deliberate choice to venture into the little garden. Upon awakening, the group discovers a letter that Black Rabbit had been attempting to keep under wraps, an invitation to the nativity of the Salamander Festival in Salamandra, situated in the northeastern district of the northern region. The festival commemorates the coronation of their new leader, 11-year-old Sandra Dortlake, who also happens to be a friend of Jin. Despite the considerable travel expenses and challenges involved in participating in gift games, Yo, Asuka, and Izayoi decide to abscond to the festival alongside Jin and a petite fox girl named Lily. They leave a note for Black Rabbit, warning of their departure from the community if she fails to apprehend them within a day. In their quest to reach Salamandra, Yo seeks assistance from Shiroyasha. However, Black Rabbit intercepts Yo while Izayoi and Asuka manage to slip away to the festival grounds, prompting a pursuit. Black Rabbit is presented with a challenge, a game where the victorious party can compel the loser to carry out a single task of their choosing. Izayoi intervenes, toppling a structure and leading to a stalemate. The piece is short-lived as military policemen from Salamandra, led by Sandra's brother Mandra, confront them. Meanwhile, Asuka spots a lost fairy and decides to give chase, with Letitia closely trailing behind. In the company of Shiroyasha, Yo receives an invitation to partake in the Battle of the Creators, a gift game tournament. After successfully navigating the preliminaries and advancing to the finals, the aftermath of the game between Black Rabbit and Izayoi sees Sandra opting not to penalize them, much to Mandra's discontent as he harbors a deep-seated aversion toward the No-Names. As an additional penance, Shiroyasha tasks them with safeguarding Sandra by defeating the demon lord foretold in the prophecy of Laplace's demon. Meanwhile, Asuka establishes an amicable rapport with a fairy hailing from a community called Rattenfanger. She attends an art exhibit organized by this community, where she is captivated by an armor crafted by its members. However, her admiration is cut short when she comes under attack by uncontrollable rats, requiring rescue by Letitia. Unable to exert authority over someone physically superior, Asuka resolves to enhance her own strength, harboring a tinge of envy for the physical prowess displayed by Izayami and Yo. In a subsequent meeting, Shirayasha designates Black Rabbit to judge the impending battle of the creators the following day. Upon unveiling the list of remaining participants' communities, Asuka is taken aback to see Rattenfanger alongside No Name, Salamandra, and Will-O-the-Wisp. Shirayasha elucidates that Rattenfanger, the rat manipulator, shares a historical connection with a community known as the Pied Piper of Hamelin. The Pied Piper once served under a demon lord, orchestrating the summoning of 200 demons and leading a community called Grim Grimoire, which disbanded following a loss in a gift game. Jin further elaborates on the Pied Piper's link to Rattenfanger, clarifying that Rattenfanger is merely the German term for Pied Piper. Armed with this insight, the group concludes that, with Rattenfanger's assistance, the demon lord from Grim Grimoire will launch an assault during the nativity of the salamander. As the meeting concludes, Shirayasha issues a warning for everyone to remain vigilant against potential spies from Rattenfanger, and to ensure Sandra's protection. This raises doubts in Asuka's mind regarding the true identity of the little fairy accompanying her. The Battle of the Creators commences, featuring Yo facing off against Asha Ignis Fadus from the Will-O-the-Wisp community, showcasing their formidable gift known as Jack-O-Lantern. As Asuka witnesses Yo in action for the first time, a sense of delight washes over her. Confronted with an immortal demon, Yo, despite having the option to seek assistance from her community, opts to concede, preferring not to rely on others. In an unexpected turn, Black G scrolls descend from the sky, beckoning everyone to partake in a game. The objective is to shatter the fabricated lore and unveil the authentic legend, accompanied by the establishment of a barrier around Shirayasha, hindering her involvement in the game. Hovering above the arena are members of the community known as the Pied Piper of Hamelin. Izayami, eager to identify their leader, arbitrarily selects an adversary, and finds himself locked in combat with Wesser, the embodiment of the Wesser River from the fairy tale. Simultaneously, Letitia and Sandra engage in a skirmish against Pest, a demon lord associated with the Black Plague in the narrative. Meanwhile, Asuka, Yo, and Jin grapple with understanding the reason behind Shirayasha's incapacity to partake in the game. Ratten, personifying the rats from the story, and the entity that previously attacked Asuka during the art exhibit, seizes control over the citizens of Salamandra using her flute. In a determined effort to overcome Ratten, Asuka instructs Jin and Yo to make a hasty retreat, yet her own attempt to triumph ends in defeat, leaving her disoriented and lost. Amid the tumult that ensnares Salamandra, Black Rabbit, leveraging her authority as Judge Master, intervenes to temporarily halt the unfolding game. She calls for a meeting between the conflicting parties, wherein the No-Names endeavor to extract details from Pest, the community leader and host of the game. Unfortunately, the rules are deemed just and adhered to, leaving the No-Names in a quandary due to the lack of specific information. In the quest to determine a timeline for resuming the game, Pest unveils a disturbing revelation. She is disseminating pathogens throughout the city to induce illness, coercing the No-Names to join the community Grim Grimoire of Hamelin if they wish to survive. Recognizing this as a ploy by a new community seeking additional manpower, Izayami exploits a loophole, allowing Black Rabbit to partake in the game. Consequently, the game is postponed for a week. Simultaneously, Asuka finds herself captive in a shadowy cavern alongside the diminutive fairy. Upon regaining consciousness, she encounters the lost souls of 130 children, casualties of the Pied Piper of Hamelin's tale. These spirits implore Asuka to aid them in dispelling the false lore surrounding the Rattenfanger, offering the armor, Dean, in exchange if she can compel it to submit in a game. Meanwhile, after 4 days, Yo and the denizens of Salamandra begin experiencing symptoms of the Black Plague. Izayami pays Yo a visit in her room, striving to alleviate her boredom and unravel the truth behind the fairy tale. Given their disparate origins from distinct timelines, many events unfold differently, yet some constants persist. The central question lingers, whether the Pied Piper they confront aligns with the familiar Black Plague narrative, as the plague is unable to claim the children within the stipulated time frame, creating a paradox. Recalling the historical context of the Black Plague in the 14th century following the Little Ice Age, and Shirayasha's control over the sun's activity, Izayami discerns a critical revelation. If Shirayasha participates in the game, preventing the Black Plague, an integral component, from occurring in sunlight, the prerequisite for the game will not be met. Remembering stained glass depictions scattered throughout the town, Izayami deduces a riddle. They must shatter all stained glass except for the one portraying the genuine legend behind the Pied Piper. On the day of the game, Izayami and his companions disperse throughout Salamandra, smashing stained glass portraying false lore. Grim Grimoire of Hamelin retaliates by summoning the village of Hamelin into a frenetic state, altering the stained glass locations and amplifying their powers. Wesser, empowered by divinity, confronts Izayami. Black Rabbit and Sandra unite against Pest, while Jin and the others contend with Ratten and the Stroms, her ceramic constructs. In a crucial moment, Asuka intervenes, wielding Dean at her command, saving them from imminent peril. Izayoi persists in his clash against Wesser, the authentic Pied Piper of Hamelin, unraveling the revelation that this Pied Piper manifested during the waning phase of the Black Plague. He contends that the other iterations were subsequently added later, modeled after the Black Plague, goading Wesser into a confrontational finale that culminates in his defeat. Simultaneously, utilizing Dean, Asuka engages in combat against Ratton's Stroms and emerges victorious, even allowing Ratton an extra song to manipulate Dean. To gain precious moments, Pest unveils her true identity to Sandra and Black Rabbit, a manifestation of the resentment and vengeful desires harbored by the 80 million individuals who succumbed to the Black Plague. Her motive is rooted in seeking retribution against the sun, hence targeting Shiroyasha. Feeling the demise of her two comrades, Pest's patience shatters, unleashing a dark red plague wind lethal to all it touches. To stem the unending tide of affliction, Black Rabbit transports the combatants to the Moon Palace, the Chandra Mahal, diminishing Pest's potency. Leveraging the Spear of Indra lent by Black Rabbit, Asuka commands its full might to vanquish Pest, conclusively concluding the game. Post-battle, Asuka encounters the children, who impart an alternative interpretation of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. In this version, the 130 children abandon their parental abodes to follow the Pied Piper, eventually establishing their own community, the Rattenfanger. Opting to return to their era, they entrust Asuka with Dean and introduce their 131st member, the little fairy named Maron by Asuka. Within the Salamandra Palace, Izayoi confirms his statements to Mandra that Salamandra had orchestrated the invitation of the Demon Lord Pest to the festival, orchestrating her defeat. This solidifies Sandra's claim to her position as Salamandra disseminates news of their triumph against the Demon Lord. Unable to justify his actions, Mandra permits Izayoi to take his own life, on the condition that Sandra remains oblivious. However, Izayoi rejects this proposition, expressing a desire for Salamandra to be the first to extend aid in their hour of need. At the No Name community, collective efforts are exerted to rejuvenate their land, assisted by Maron and Dean. Amid the joyous labor, a letter descends before Izayoi, bearing a mysterious seal. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.